Hello students, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. I am Sharon Stanley, Assistant Professor, PG Department of English, Don Bosco College, Kottayam. This lecture deals with the paper Reading Fiction, Module 4 Short Stories. Today, I discuss the short story The Little Girl by Katherine Mansfield. Let's begin this section by introducing the author. Katherine Mansfield. Katherine Mansfield was a prominent short story writer, was born and brought up in colonial New Zealand. At the age of 19, Mansfield left New Zealand and settled in the United Kingdom, where she became a friend of writers such as D.H. Lawrence and Virginia Woolf. In 1917, she was diagnosed with tuberculosis, which led to her death at age 34. Master of the short story, Katherine Mansfield had much influence on the development of the short story as a form of literature. She evolved a distinctive prose style with many overtones of poetry. Her delicate stories, focused upon psychological conflicts, have an obliqueness of narration and a subtlety of observation that is reminiscent of Anton Chekhov. She was a prolific writer in the final years of her life. In the story, The Little Girl by Katherine Mansfield, we have the theme of family relationships. It is taken from Mansfield's Something Childish and Other Stories. The story is narrated in the third person by an unnamed narrator. Katherine Mansfield's story, The Little Girl, is a story of a young girl, Kezia, and her relationship with her domineering father. His dim behavior shakes his little daughter's faith in him and also in herself. To such an extent, she develops a strong dislike for him. To her, he is a figure to be feared and avoided. She feels relieved when he leaves for his job every morning. Let's move on to the summary. Kezia was a little girl who lived with her parents and grandmother. She did not like her father because of his overbearing attitude. So long her father remained office, she was relieved. And his goodbye kiss seems too casual and perfunctory to her. The moment he came home, she would start feeling uncomfortable. She never stuttered with other people, but failed to speak properly in front of him. He appeared to her as harsh, rude, and critical. He was like a giant for Kezia. Mother would encourage her to go near father in the drawing room when he came home from the office and take off his shoes like a good girl. Kezia would turn so nervous, but there was no way out. She cannot disobey her mother, and when she would take off his shoes, he would ask if she had been a good girl that day. Kezia's grandmother wanted her to understand her parents better and would ask her to go to the drawing room to chat with them. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. One day, grandmother told Kezia that father's birthday was next week and suggested her to make a pincushion for a gift. Kezia stitched the three sides of the pincushion. Now she wanted to stuff it with something. She looked out for it here and there in the house. Suddenly, in her mother's bedroom, she found many sheets of fine paper lying on the bed table. She gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces, and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side. Kezia had unknowingly committed a grave mistake. Those were important papers as they contained her father's speech for the Port Authority. There was a hue and cry in the house that night. Though Kezia accepted her mistake and tried to explain the reasons behind it, her father was too angry to listen to anything. He picked up a ruler and hit her hands with it. Kezia found Mr. MacDonald a different sort of father. He lived next door and used to play with his 5 children, laughing and enjoying with them. This convinced Kezia that all fathers are not alike. Some are loving like Mr. MacDonald and some are cruel like her own father. One day, Kezia's mother fell ill and her mother and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with the cook. Kezia was all right in the daytime, but when night fell, she grew suddenly afraid. What would she do if she had a nightmare? By sleeping, she had a horrible dream in the middle of the night. She woke up screaming. When she opened her eyes, she saw her father standing beside her bed. He took Kessia with her in his room and made her warm on his bed. He made her feel safe and comfortable with him. Kessia then realized that her father was not a cruel person. She felt sorry for comparing him with the giant. She realized that he loved her and cared for her in his own way. She was so proud to find her father as a big hearted man. The main theme in The Little Girl is a young child's point of view about a father. Children take time to understand the actions of their elders. Till such time, they may look upon their parents with negativity and fear. However, as kids grow older, their attitude towards their parents undergoes a change. The theme of this story is based on this process of change that makes little children notice the soft and caring heart of their overtly strict parents. Right, students, I hope you understand this lecture. Please write the summary of the short story, The Little Girl, as your assignment. Thank you.